Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming out tonight and making yourselves heard. It's especially good to be with all of you because this is our first rally in 10 years. We missed you in the last GE because of COVID-19. I'm so glad to see the back of the pandemic, and may it never happen to the world again. It was a very rough time for everyone. But unfortunately, for many of us, things have remained tough because of some very ill-advised policies that the PAP took in the years following the pandemic. In this election, we have the chance to correct them. My fellow candidates and I will take you through some very important issues, and in the course of the next 7 days, we will lay out clearly where and how the PAP has gone wrong, and more importantly, how we can take our nation back on the winning path again.
Yes!
We will spell out for you an alternative vision for our nation. A vision that is filled with a promise and the hope of an intelligent, resilient, and innovative people. A people filled with a fierce regard for compassion and justice.
Yes!
We will lay out our case, not with fiery rhetoric, but with facts, with reason, with logic, to persuade you to see the importance of electing SDP MPs. When the dark clouds cleared in 2021 and 2022, instead of ensuring that Singaporeans emerge stronger and healthier, the government piled on new pressures for the people. For one thing, the PAP insisted on increasing the GST despite the financial hardship that Singaporeans had to endure during the COVID period. In the last GE, the SDP specifically warned the people that we would be facing hardships, significant hardships. And we urged the government to suspend the GST altogether for 1 year and delay the implementation of the GST increase. What we said is all on record. Just Google it. I'm not making it up. But no, Mr. Lawrence Wong insisted on raising the GST to 9%. And when the financial pain started to kick in, he told us that the inflation is due to global trends, and then added that the government is, quote, doing its best to shield you from the worst effects of inflation. Really? The government has been raising prices for almost everything that you use. Let's start with water. The PAP raised water rates twice. Once last year and another one this year, a total of an 18% increase. It already increased water prices by 30% in 2018. And water is not the only item that it increased. In December last year, bus and MRT rates went up by 6%. The government has increased fares every year for the last 5 years, save for 2020. In 2021, the PAP hiked petrol duty by an incredible 23%. And if you think that just because you don't drive, you're not impacted, well, think again. Higher prices at the pump means higher transportation costs for businesses, and that increase in costs is passed down to you, the consumer. ERP rates have been inching up. Electricity and gas rates have also been increasing through the years. So much so that Singapore Power, a government-owned company, has been collecting profits of billions of dollars. Healthcare have escalated in recent years. Between now and 2028, your MediShield life premiums will increase by as much as 35%. PAP town councils all raised their service and conservancy charges in 2023 and then again last year in 2024. The NEA, National Environment Agency, raised your refuse collection fee in 2017 and then in 2022 and again in 2024. Last year, all three universities, NUS, NTU, SMU, all raised their dormitory fees between 7 to 12%. BTO prices have risen steadily over the years. So have childcare fees. And here's the kicker. On top of all these price increases, the government hiked GST to 9%. Does this look like the PAP is trying to shield us from inflation?
No!
So why is the PAP raising the GST despite such bleak times? One clue comes from what Mr. Lee Hsien Loong said, and I quote, "What will make you need to raise GST? Profligate spending and irresponsible, unsustainable plans. That is what will hurt and require you to raise taxes and GST," unquote. By the way, profligate spending means recklessly, extravagantly wasteful. And this is one of those rare moments where I agree with Mr. Lee. But it was the PAP's profligate spending that has caused it to have to raise the GST. What do I mean? Take for instance, the Founders Memorial. If you go to Marina Barrage, you will see a section being cordoned off under construction right now. How much will this memorial cost you? A cool $335 million. And by the time that project is finished, it could cost a lot more. And the memorial is one of those nice to have things, but one that benefits the people very little. Now in 2022, it pledged nearly $1 billion with a B. It pledged $1 billion to the Singapore Press Holdings, bailing out the company that is hemorrhaging money because no one is reading its newspapers. And remember how the government recently wasted $40 million on the failed Simply Go system. Billions more was spent to review the MRT system, only to have its worst breakdown in SMRT's history. Last year, when the East-West line was disrupted for nearly a week. You remember that?
Yes!
And then recently, the government started to replace traffic light crossing buttons to sensory ones, where you don't even have to press the button. You just have to wave at it, and then the light will change. Have you seen those? How much did it cost the public? Again, nice to have, but is it really necessary? No. Then there is this calendar. Have you received one in your letterbox?
Yes!
I'm sure many of you have. It's beautifully produced, ring bound, hardcover. Every page filled with very snazzy pictures of your favorite PAP MP.
Oh, our money!
Who printed it? For me, it was the Bishan Toa Payoh Town Council. Is this the reason why the PAP Town Councils raised the service and conservancy charges for you? And I'm sure many of you have seen those digital display panels in your lift lobby, correct? They are expensive. I know, because I wanted to use them for my restaurant in Orange and Teal. But I was warned that these monitors break down easily and that they are expensive to repair and maintain. And sure enough, a short while after they were installed in my lift lobby, the monitors broke down and they had to be repaired. And they were subsequently taken down and replaced with another model. Imagine the sheer number of these monitors for the hundreds of thousands of list lobbies across the island. How much money was wasted? And can you remember the nearly 1 million rubbish center that Miss Grace Fu commissioned to be built? And every single year, the Auditor General's office flagged lapses, poor oversight, and wastage in government agencies when it comes to spending public funds. In some of these cases, police reports were lodged. Now, I cannot list all the examples of wasteful spending because we'll be here till tomorrow morning and then we'll have to buy everybody breakfast. Now, do you believe me when I say PAP is spend big, tax big? They waste, we pay. In the meantime, the ministers continue to collect their $1 million salaries and go and rent bungalows and live a life of luxury, a subject which I will be talking about in subsequent rallies. You won't want to miss what I have to say about this. But the PAP says that it is giving out rebates and vouchers to help people cope with the cost of living. Wait, just wait for a moment. The PAP raises the GST and then tells you that it is giving you vouchers to help you cope with the increased GST? Am I missing something here? Or does this sound like the arsonist
Scam.
that sets your house on fire and then comes and gives you a cup of water to help you put it out? Makes sense to me. All I'm just saying is that just to make sense to me. The truth, my friends, is that the PAP is not the prudent, frugal government that it once was. As I said, waste big, tax big. The new and younger ministers have tasted the high life. And like McDonald's, they're loving it. I repeat, the high cost of living that you are struggling with is not due to some global trends as Mr. Lawrence Wong would have us believe, but in fact, the PAP's very own making. But more importantly, what I want to tell you is that these increases can be reversed. To do this, the SDP proposes that we reduce the GST back to 7% and bring prices back to pre-COVID levels. This is why you need SDP MPs in the next parliament. We will not be fearful when it comes to engaging the PAP on the cost of living. And we will push the government to lower expenses. Costly, wasteful spending on unnecessary projects that don't add value to your lives will be called out. And we will scrutinize the PAP spending. The SDP's message cannot be clearer. We must reduce the cost of living, not just give out vouchers, so that Singaporeans can stress less and live more. We also advocate a minimum wage act, which will help workers earn wages that to help them live meaningful lives. My colleagues and I will spell out the details of these proposals in the coming days. And now housing has also become so expensive that even young couples find it difficult to afford BTOs. And when you finish off repaying your loan, by the time you retire, you don't have enough CPF to allow you to live insecurity. So many of you who have retired have come up to me and told me that you paid off your SDP loan and now you find that you don't have enough in your CPF to retire on. How can a few $100s from your CPF or from the Silver Support Scheme be enough? Things have become so expensive that we now have to rely on vouchers. The PAP is even selling a carton of eggs for $1. After 60 years of one-party rule, families have to depend on such handouts. How did we come to this? And of course, handing out vouchers and selling $1 eggs is good for the PAP, especially during elections. But do I need to remind you, ladies and gentlemen, that special offers are temporary while cost increases are permanent? After it coaxes you to swallow the pill, meaning that it gets your vote, you're the one that has to deal with the poison in your body. No, my fellow Singaporeans, don't yield to temptation. The SDP will show you the way to a better future. I repeat, we must substantially and meaningfully lower the cost of living so that Singaporeans can live secure and fulfilled lives. You shouldn't. You shouldn't have to depend on vouchers to survive. The SDP wants you to thrive, not just survive. We want you to get ahead, not just get by.
Yes! SDP!
Now I've shown you facts, my friends. Just the facts. No need for any side dressing. No need for any chili sauce or gravy. Just plain verifiable facts. Because these facts speak for themselves. To me, the most important thing is that when you walk into the voting booth next Saturday, you walk in with the necessary information to cast an intelligent vote. As I said, the SDP wants Singapore to thrive. In the coming days, we will spell out exactly how we are going to go about this. For now, I want to point out that the only thing that is stopping us from flourishing, from thriving as an economy, as a society, as a people, is fear. Unfounded fear. The fear that somehow without the PAP having 90% of the seats in the House, Singapore will crumble. Or that without the PAP in charge of the town council, your estate will be in shambles. No. Don't live in fear. No society living in fear has ever thrived. In fact, it was your fear that put you in a difficult position in the first place. The more you fear, the worse your quality of life. Our alternative plan, our alternative vision will lift Singapore to new heights. Not just in wealth, but in wisdom. Not just in profits, but in purpose. In the way we dance, in the way we sing, in the way we dream and dare. The PAP offers fear. We offer hope. They say be careful. We say be courageous. They say stand in line. We say break free. They say this is as good as it gets. We say just wait. Just wait until we rise together. I see it, my friends. I feel it. I feel the fire in our people, the brilliance in our youth, the strength in our workers, the compassion in our community. Singapore has what it takes to stand tall and to compete among and against the best in the world.
Yes!
But we will never reach the sky if we keep clinging to the ground. We cannot fly if we allow fear to hold us down by our ankles. I'm asking you, my fellow Singaporeans, in this election, choose courage. Choose to live fully and rise boldly. Are you ready, my friends? Are you ready to spread your wings? Are you ready to soar? Then let us be the eagle, undaunted, unafraid, unstoppable, not the mouse that trembles in a dark hole in the ground. Come with SDP. Walk with us. Dream with us. Fight with us.
SDP! SDP!
I have been
SDP! 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 SDP!
Thank you. I have been dreaming for a better Singapore. And I have been fighting for this country all my life. And I've never regretted 1 minute of it. Come with me. And I promise that together we will build a Singapore that doesn't just survive, but one that shines, one that soars, and one that thrives. Thank you, and good night, everybody.
Thank you, Dr. Chee, and thank you, everybody. Lastly, we'd like to invite some of our stauncher supporters to come on stage to present a garland to Dr. Chee, please. Round of applause.
SDP! 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 Woo!
Thank you, everyone. And before the mic is cut off, I would like to once again implore you to help the team by purchasing merchandise from the centages over there. And if you are participating in our next rallies, please help by also wearing red color.